Since everyone and their mom is insultingly and inaccurately putting out their list of best wide receiver duos in the NFL, we decided to the most accurate, and this ain't no guess, it's what's going to be, of the actual ranking of the NFL wide receiver duos. So, of course, you know, we're obviously biased on this channel, but facts is what they is. Justin friggin' Jefferson, Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen is the top duo in the National Football League. You have the best wide receiver in the game just coming into his own year two, and you have a top 10 guy, red zone monster, 14 tutties last year. Woo! How can you get better than that? And this is all on a run for his team, and your quarterback is Kirk Cousins, by the way. Cool. So we're going to start at the bottom. Now we're here. So honorable mention, well, I guess not even honorable mention, 13th. So DeAndre Hopkins and AJ Green. Now this one's tough because Nuke is, if not the best, one of the best still wide receivers in the game. But the Cardinals don't really have a wide receiver too. I mean, you could say Christian Kirk, except he only had about 600 yards receiving last year. AJ Green, who was on the franchise tag last year in Cincinnati, they let him go. Maybe he can recapture that love and feeling being a wide receiver 2-3 in Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury want to chuck the ball all over the place. Kyler Murray, hopefully he steps up this year. I don't know. Next up, number 12. So DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They definitely get overlooked in terms of the rankings of the wide receiver duos, the pecking order, but they both went over 1,000 yards last year with Teddy. Passing game with Joe Brady year one is very helter-skelter. They didn't have a good offensive line, but Robbie Anderson is a great deep ball threat. DJ Moore is a bad man. There's something about Maryland wide receivers. I don't know what it is, but they're looking pretty damn good in Carolina. Hopefully Sam Darnold can get him the rock. 11. So I got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, where Keenan Allen is one of those wide receivers where he's so good, you just sort of forget about him. And then when you're doing a ranking of wide receivers, like, oh yeah, Keenan Allen is one of the most polished route runners in the game. Plus Mike Williams is just a power forward out there. Justin Herbert, as he grows into year two, even though he was not the offensive rookie of the year last year, no matter what anyone tells you, hopefully they can give him the rock. Plus Josh Palmer's out there as well. Tennessee third round pick. I love him. Next up, number 10. So we got the Broncos, where sort of an out-of-sight, out-of-mind duo where Cortland Sutton tore his ACL last year, but he was growing into one of the best young receivers in the game. Jerry Jeudy, great in the slot, but really underwhelmed as a rookie. I'd blame mostly Drew Lock. If they can get some stability at quarterback out there, plus Pat Shurmur, another year older and wiser in the scheme, and plus if they can build a decent offensive line besides just Garrett Bowles, they can get something done. Number 9. Oh, controversial. So Jamar Chase, who's not played it down in the National Football League, but he's the first wide receiver taken in this draft, and T. friggin' Higgins. I love it, man. I love it. Of the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow's coming back, reunited with Chase, and it feels so good. 20 touchdowns in 2019 as they won a national title. Higgins put up 67 catches, 908 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns as a rookie. I love it, man. And also, I mean, you could throw in Tyler Boyd in terms of the duo. Great slot receiver, formerly at Pitt. So, go ahead. Now, I was thinking about being a smartass and putting Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley on this list because Kyle Pitts is basically a wide receiver, but it'd be what it be. Number 8. So, a lot like the DeAndre Hopkins problem, Tyreek Hill is obviously up here, but doesn't really have a Robin to his Batman. So Mecole Hardman, the speedster out of Georgia, yeah, maybe he's sort of that guy, will be eventually. Now, if it was opened up to tight ends, you know, like we said with Ridley and Kyle Pitts, obviously Tyreek and Kelsey, there would either be 1, maybe 2, probably 2. I'd still put my 2 behind Jefferson and Thielen. But, you know, Tyreek Hill is up here. Mecole Hardman is what here, so that puts their duo right there. Next up, number 7, Siete. Scary Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. Woo! So Terry last year had 87 catches, 1,018 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel comes up from Carolina. I think he's been underrated his entire career. That's a nice duo for Ryan Fitzpatrick and company as they go forward. Number 6. So Stefon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders, where people forget about Manny Sanders signing with the Bills, going to rock the numero uno, and all the duo rankings is Stefon Diggs and Cole Beasley. And Beasley is a fine slot receiver, but he's not premier. He's probably best suited as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, still has some good football left in him, and Diggs completely destroyed last year. It's another one of these up here, whatever here rankings, so they clock in at 6. Number 5. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. Now, I've always loved Amari Cooper, going back to Bama, going back to the Raiders, and I think that he is slightly overlooked and underrated, even though he's on the freaking Cowboys, right? And Dak is going to be back and hitting these two guys up. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, if Justin Jefferson didn't have the season that he did, CeeDee Lamb would be getting a lot more attention, even though he does get plenty since he played at Oklahoma, plays for the Cowboys now. But last year they combined for 2,049 yards and 10 touchdowns. I think that will even expand, even as Michael Gallup is still a solid wide receiver 3. A lot of mouths to feed in Big D 4. So, yeah, the champs, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, where Evans has had 1,000 yards every single year of his career. He's going to be 28 by the time the season starts. As well as Godwin had 1,333 yards receiving in 2019. Was dinged up a bit last year on their Super Bowl run. Plus, you have AB as a wide receiver 3. That's pretty damn good. Number 3, yeah, the Titans, where you see a lot of these rankings now, and they have AJ and Julio up at 1. I don't know about that. Tennessee is still always going to be a run-first team with Derrick Henry. Julio is 32, even though he's got some good years left in him. But A.J. Brown, man, A.J. Brown is a bad man. Physical, he will fight you for every single ball. Like, he's just a vacuum out there. I love A.J. Brown. Julio brings him up here. And plus, you saw what Tennessee did last year. They resurrected Corey Davis. He finally had a good season. Then he signed with a big deal with the Jets. So, yeah, I think that's a really nice duo. And then 2, of course, could be DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, where DK obviously gets all the hype, but rightfully so. He is a nightmare out there. Russ is in pretty good shape with these guys. Plus, I add Dwayne Eskridge to this group. Ooh. Plus, Tyler Lockett, you got the big-time deal. I think Lockett might be the most underrated receiver in the game. Like, he's certainly up there. They play in the Pacific Northwest, sort of out of sight, out of mind. He's not a loud guy. He's a small dude, but he's got speed. He's got quickness. He's a proficient route runner, and he's just a tough kid. He's just a really tough dude. So, yeah, respect. Put the Seahawks at 2, but, of course, 1, Justin Frankie Jefferson, Adam Thielen. But what are your thoughts on our thoughts? The most accurate wide receiver duo rankings in the universe. This is it. This is what they actually are. This is what I'm going to be. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post something in Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.